So unsubscribe now. Thought I'd make one last video on my third and often forgotten channel, PMDB free. This is my 10th anniversary on YouTube. I have two other channels that I use much more and are much more known. In this video, I thought we'd talk about the Halloween franchise one more time, as during perhaps arguably the most boring period in our lifetime, I've ended up watching films. I don't often watch films. I try and stay away from pop culture, but I've had literally nothing else better to do, so I rewatched the Halloweens within 2 days and thought we'd talk about them one last time. Halloween, 42 years ago this year, the original 1978 classic was released. It was a landmark movie, a landmark horror movie, marking the debut of Michael Myers, Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis, and Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, directed by John Carpenter. This was by far the best Halloween movie and one of the greatest movies of all time. Arguably the greatest horror movie ever that I've seen anyways. 3 years later, along came the first of many sequels, Halloween 2, 1981. It followed right after the events of Halloween 1978 on the same night. It once again featured Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis and Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. Halloween 2 is definitely a fall from greatness. It's a really middle of the road Halloween film. It does have its moments, but it's currently sitting in 5th place in my new updated Halloween rankings. A year later, a film that is sitting in 4th place in my Halloween updated rankings is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch from 1982, starring Tom Atkins. This Halloween film has nothing to do with Michael Myers, it's the one without it. It's gained a bit of a cult following since then. I think people, to begin with, were raging. They kind of got scammed into thinking they were going to see another Michael Myers installment, and well, he technically is in this film, but Michael Myers, Laurie Strode are all just a movie in this universe, in this Halloween film. You can see clips of the Halloween 1978 film being played throughout this movie. This movie has arguably the best atmosphere out of all the Halloween films. I really I really enjoy Tom Atkins in this movie. And the more I rewatch this film, the more I appreciate it. And it's creeping further up in my rankings. 32 years ago this year was the 10th anniversary Halloween film, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, the return of Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis also marked the debut of Daniel Harris as Jamie Lloyd. I love this film. I think it's the best of the sequels. It's the second best Halloween film. I love the atmosphere, the mood. It has its problems, it has its major mistakes. But Donald Pleasence, once again, is excellent as Dr. Loomis. I enjoy the character of Sheriff Brackett, and I think Daniel Harris was great in this movie. And she was just a young kid, and very, very probably one of the best child actors I've ever seen. A year later, out came Halloween 5. Now, this was one of the worst Halloween movies ever made from the original timeline. However, what saves this movie, I mean, the teenagers in this movie are so damn annoying. It's a hard sit through. The first 2 quarters of this film are hard work, but the ending's really good. Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis once again just brings his A game. I actually think he may be at his best in this movie. In what is one of the weaker Halloween movies, I think Donald Pleasence as Dr. Loomis is fantastic here. Once again, we see Daniel Harris as Jamie Lloyd. But Halloween 5, for the first 2 quarters, is a hard film to sit through. In 1995 came the first 90s Halloween movie, Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. I remember watching this as a kid years ago. It terrified me. Over the years, on repeat, I've had major issues with this movie. It's the last appearance of Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence, whom passed away in February of 1995. But he just managed to complete filming. I've yet to see the full version of the producer's cut of the movie. I think I would have preferred the producer's cut of the movie better. I just haven't gone around. I've seen bits here and there. But despite me having some major problems, and it's often really near the bottom of my Halloween rankings, it currently sits in 7th place, just above Halloween 5. I love the atmosphere in this movie. I enjoy Paul Rudd's performance as Tommy Doyle. I think Kara Strode is likable in this movie. I think John, her dad, in this movie is hilarious. And he's one of those you love to hate kind of characters. So it has many things in it. It could have been one of the best Halloween movies ever, but it just falls short. And the ending, you just feel cheated by the end. And Daniel Harris doesn't reprise her role as Jamie Lloyd. It's played by somebody else who does a not bad job. She's actually pretty good. But I think it would have enjoyed this film better if Daniel Harris had reappeared. Next, we have Halloween H2O 20 years later, which has often been near the top of my rankings. And this time around, I really enjoyed watching it. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is great here. This is her third appearance in a Halloween movie. Josh Hartnett. Well, however, I'm not really familiar with actors' names, as you can tell, unless I really liked him like Donald Pleasence. Josh, who was just young here, plays her son. Obviously 20 years after the original Halloween, the events of Halloween 1 and 2. It's the second of 3 original timelines. It ignores the foreign trilogy. It ignores the events of Halloween 3, obviously. And it's one of the best sequels. It's just, unfortunately, Halloween H2O gets tarnished by Halloween Resurrection. It's ending. If this was the end of the original timeline, this would have been a fitting ending. And if they could have, if they acknowledged the previous 3 films, it would have been not perfect, but a decent ending to the original timeline, and the timelines wouldn't be such a mess. Halloween Resurrection, good God Almighty, 2002. It was due to be released in 2001, but got postponed for a year or so. Halloween 5 was bad sitting through again the first 2 quarters of that film, but Halloween Resurrection, I was like hating my life during watching this movie. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I thought a weird thing has happened this rewatch time around is when I last rewatched these films, I started liking Halloween, the remake, the reboot from 2007. This time around, I found it really unwatchable, just like I did in 2007. Halloween Resurrection is really bad, but this time around, for me, Halloween 2007 was the worst film out of the whole series, out of the whole franchise. It was really unwatchable. I came close to turning it off. Awful. The sequel to Halloween 2007 is not much better, but at least it's the most unique entry of the series. It's got that going for it, but not much else. It's again, for the most part, very unwatchable. I was hating my life during having these films on in the background. But once I start a film series, it's my OCD. I've got to complete it to feel complete. And last but not least, I rewatched the latest Halloween movie, Halloween, from 2018. Now, in 2018, I was rooting for this one to be the second best Halloween film of all time. I didn't think it would be the best. I thought it had a great shot at being the second best Halloween film. I remember coming out the cinema being disappointed. Was glad to see the original Michael Myers back. Glad to see Jamie Lee Curtis back for her fifth time in a Halloween film, tying Donald Pleasence's record in the 11th Halloween film. I love all the nods to all the Halloween films, even the really unwatchable ones. I think it's nice that they get a nod. I think the best nod in this film is to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, when there's kids wearing the Halloween 3 masks. So, as I say, Halloween 3 is rising and rising in my rankings. Just love the atmosphere in that film. So I was disappointed in Halloween 2018 to begin with. And then I rewatched it a few times, and I was like, this film's really not that great. And it began to get lower and lower in my rankings, but now it's placed as my sixth favorite Halloween film of all time. I still find it a bit flat in a lot of areas, and Sartain's awful, Ray's forgettable, but Jamie Lee Curtis is pretty damn good in it. I don't like the whole story that Michael Myers was captive for 4 years. I think Halloween H2O's approach to Michael just being missing for 20 years was better. I find him least not that scary in this film, so that's a problem. That's a problem. He's supposed to be scary. So, my new updated Halloween rankings look as follow. In 11th place, Halloween 2007. 10th, Halloween Resurrection. 9th, Halloween 2 from 2009. 8th, Halloween 5. 7th, Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers. 6th, Halloween from 2018. I wish they would have different names for these films. I hate having, if anybody asks you, what's your favorite Halloween film? Halloween, oh, what year? Oh, this one from 2018 should have just been called Halloween Returns. Halloween 2 from 2009 should have been called Halloween, what the hell is this all about? Halloween from 2007 should have just been called Don't Watch This is a waste of your life. In 5th place, my top 5 Halloween films are now as follows. Halloween 2 from 1981. In 4th place, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. 3rd place, Halloween H2O 20 years later. In 2nd place, Halloween 4 The Return of Michael Myers. And then there's a big gap. There's a big gap. As much as I enjoy Halloween 4 and H2O and 3 and parts of 2, Halloween is on a different level from all the other Halloween films. The original Halloween is the greatest Halloween film and one of the best movies of all time.